All right, guys, hear me out. I know this looks crazy, okay? But listen, okay? Okay, I'm going to make, on this episode of Leftover Makeover, a cheddar broccoli soup, vegan. Now, I've never, ever, when I was vegan or not vegan, had broccoli soup, cheddar broccoli soup, or broccoli soup. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but that's the whole point of Leftover Makeover. We use what we got, and we try to make something different. So the reason I'm doing this is because I have a couple things of vegan cheese here that need to be used up. This is like a smoky cheddar, and this is a regular cheddar. This one's a little bit softer. This one's a little bit harder. I'm going to use those up. I also have, randomly, if I can open it, like a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of cream cheese. I know, weird. Apparently, it's a normal thing to put cream cheese in a broccoli soup, a broccoli cheddar soup, so we're going to do that. First thing I'm going to do, and I do have, there's other ingredients that are going to go into this. I'm getting my frozen soup vegetables out right now, my potatoes, my onions, my celery, and my carrots, because apparently that's a thing. I'm going to put some boiling water on a cup of cashews first. I'm going to put 2 cups of water on here because I'm going to blend this up, and that's going to be the cream in the broccoli cheddar soup. I've looked up different recipes, not vegan recipes, just like normal non-vegan recipes, to see exactly what it is they're looking for when they're making a cheddar broccoli soup, and it looks very, very rich. I'm talking like 5 tablespoons of butter rich, you know what I mean? So we're just going to do it. We're just going to try it and see how it goes. I don't know if I'll like it. The idea of a cheesy soup kind of grosses me out personally, but apparently it must be a thing because people love it. So I'm going to get some boiling water on these cashews and let them soak. And then, what's on my finger? And then when we come back, we will start making this. And I'm letting my soup vegetables thaw out right now. So we are going to fill this baby up to the 2-cup line. Because we're trying to replicate a vegan half and half, essentially. But it looks like the cheddar broccoli soups that I've seen online, there's like a couple of different ways to make it. I'm going to opt, and this is not a recipe. This is me freestyling it. I just looked up like basic things that people do for broccoli soup. Apparently a roux is a thing, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a roux because I like a roux. I like the way that is. I don't know if that's everybody's favorite thing, but I'm going to try it and see how it goes. So we're going to let these guys boil, and we're going to let these guys thaw. All right, so I have managed to pull out a cup each of the frozen potato, frozen celery, frozen carrot, and frozen onion. Yeah, so from what I can see, most people like to leave like chunks of like carrot and stuff in it. I'm not gonna do that. Realistically, I don't think I'll like that. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cook these down with a little bit of maybe olive oil, just a little bit, and cook them for a little bit, and then I'm going to add them to the blender with the cashews, and I think that's what I'm going to do with them. I think that'll be pretty good. Also, I went ahead and pulled off all the florets from my broccoli. I'm going to use these, I think. I'm going to like cut off the nubbin and wash them, and I'm going to chop them up, and I think I'm going to cook them with the other veggies and then blend it with the cashews so it doesn't go to waste. I mean, this is perfectly edible, but I'm going to chop these up much smaller than this because I don't think I want big chunks of broccoli in my soup. I think the consensus is that you want like small pieces of broccoli. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. All right, I am also going to go ahead and grate the cheeses. I'm just basically prepping until my cashews are good. So we're going to just shred the cheese. So I went ahead and shredded the cheese with the box grater. I was not sure if this one I got at the deli would shred, but actually shredded really nicely. Like, it was very soft and slippery in my hand. Yeah, So it actually is probably going to melt in there really well. And it's going to be a really good contrast with the smoky cheddar, I bet. I did have some like sliced vegan cheese, but I really didn't want to use sliced or shredded vegan cheeses because they tend to have the stuff on it. It makes them not stick together. And I really wanted this to melt well. So this is perfect because we're using leftovers and it's exactly what we need. And just for reference, I should probably tell you, this ended up, I measured it out after I shredded it. It ended up being like 3.5 cups of cheese. But I'm also going to add nutritional yeast because I just feel like making anything cheesy as a vegan, you should be using nooch. All right, so since butter seems to be the theme, we're going to use, I did spray a little bit of olive oil in it too because like I prefer olive oil to cooking than butter. But we added a tablespoon of butter into this pan, and I'm going to dump all my vegetables in there. And I turned the heat to medium, and we're going to cook these a little bit. I do find it very interesting that people put potatoes in it because if you blend up potatoes, it has a very like silky, creamy texture. My only concern with this, with this soup, besides the fact it's a cheesy soup, and that sounds gross to me, but I'm concerned it's going to be too rich. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to pair it with sourdough. Probably just toasted. I probably won't even put butter on it, even though I really, really like sourdough with some butter on it. But I'm probably not going to put butter on it just because of how rich this is going to be. I don't think it's going to need it. But I'm going to need something, I feel like, to go with this soup. I am going to add like a teaspoon of salt. Maybe 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of salt and a teaspoon of pepper to this also because I feel like it's going to need salt. So I only added a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of pepper just because I don't want to make it too intense, and I can always add more, but I can't take it away. So we're just doing a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of pepper to start. Now, I don't know if garlic is traditionally in broccoli cheddar soup, but I don't see how it could be bad. So I'm just going to roughly chop this up and throw it in with the other veggies. And they are looking pretty good. We're just really trying to get them, steam. We're really just trying to get them to soften. So I just cut up the broccoli roughly. Some pieces are really small and some are a little bit bigger. But I'm not a fan of the mess. Like, I don't know. Maybe I've just never chopped broccoli like this. I don't normally have this much mess, and I hate it. So, I don't know, guys. What's the consensus? Do you like it to be smaller than this? I have some that are smaller than this in the bottom. And I was making it really small, and then I'm like, should I make it this small? Should I make some pieces chunkier? I don't know. I don't dislike broccoli, so I think this will be good like this. I don't know. All right, it appears our vegetables have been cooked through, so we are done with that step. And our cashews have been properly soaked. So now it is time to add stuff to the blender. So we are adding our 2 cups, cashews, water situation, all of it. I went ahead and added all the veggies. I know in the research I've done, it seems like people like to have like other vegetable chunks in it. I'm not going to do that. I wanted the rest of the soup to be smooth, and I want the broccoli chunky. I also added 1/4 cup of nooch just because I think it'll be good. Honestly, I just had a thought, and I think miso paste in here would be killer. Unfortunately, I don't have miso paste, so we are going to turn this. I actually turned it down onto low because it was done cooking while I was chopping broccoli. So I'm going to turn it onto medium low, and we are going to add our butter. So we are going to make a roux. I'm going to start boiling some water also in my kettle. All right, so the butter is in there. We have to let it melt. I'm going to make 3 cups of veggie broth with the kettle water heating up. I'm going to be using the Zoop broth. I can't find this anymore. I think it's really good. If you don't have this, just use whatever bouillon you want, veggie or the no better than bouillon, no chicken broth. I use the better than bouillon also, but I really like this one, so I've been using it. I went ahead and added my 3 teaspoons of the bouillon. I know it looks like dookie, okay? Trust me, I know, but it tastes really good. Looks like our butter is almost melted. We're gonna push it around here. I know there are some like little bits on the bottom of the pan, but I am not gonna clean this pan, just saying. And that's just flavor anyway. It's not gonna hurt anything. We need this butter to melt all the way, and then we are going to add our flour. Good enough for me. So I have here 1/4 cup of flour. I'm just gonna dump that right in there. And basically we are just going to cook the flour in the butter. This is how you make a roux. You just want to move it all around, make sure all the flour gets coated in that butter. It's going to make like this right here, like this sticky paste, and that's what you want. You want that because basically we're, in a sense, we're kind of like activating the flour. And once we add our broth to this, it's going to thicken up and make a nice texture. I actually just had an idea. I'm going to add the vegetable broth. If I can fit it, I'm going to add it into the Vitamix with the rest of it and just add it all in one go. All right, veggie broth going in to the blender. Ooh, messy. We had a little bit of a spill. All right, we're turning the lid on and we're going to blend her up. All right, so that is done. It smells like vegetables. So we're gonna just dump this right in there with the butter flour. It did not look as yellow over there in that corner of my kitchen because it is dark over there, but it is actually quite yellow. I'm shocked, and there is no cheese in this yet. So that's pretty cool. Now I'm using a silicone whisk to whisk the roux because you don't want to scrape your pan, but you definitely want to whisk that flour in there really good, okay? Because you don't want all that mess. I mean, it looks good. I'm really curious to see how it tastes though, so. I mean, it doesn't taste bad. Kind of chickeny. And I forgot to add the cream cheese, so we're going to do that now. And I will just whisk that in there. I might be new to making broccoli soup, but I'm like, what point do I add the broccoli? I know I'm going to put the cheese in next, but it's like, when do I put the broccoli in? So I put some foil in these. I know it's not ideal, and I hurt myself on the foil thing. Anyway, just because I don't want to lose any of the smaller pieces of broccoli inside of my air fryer, I put these down. I'm just going to roast these at 425 for like 8 minutes and then see what it looks like. Ta-da! I'm not putting any oil or anything on these either. Normally, I only air fry frozen broccoli because I just get frozen broccoli most of the time. I find that it's just easier. I don't usually get fresh broccoli, but I'm assuming because it's fresh, it will not take as long to cook. So we're going to start at 6 minutes and then check it. All right, so we have our broccoli air frying. We're going to add our cheese in. I'm just going to dump the whole shebang in there. You know, I always wonder why I have so many dirty dishes, and I'm like, this is why. It's because I cook and I record myself cooking. Honestly, that's really what it is. So we're just going to whisk this in, I guess. It seems like a lot. Like, this seems like it's going to be a very decadent soup. I mean, I'm not as opposed to it as I was. I had a lot of trepidation about this recipe. It's not really a recipe. I just kind of like winged it a little bit, wung it. I'm making it up as I go right here, guys, because this is how we do it on Leftover Makeover. But from like what I read from like the non-vegan broccoli cheddar soup, trying to veganize it doesn't seem difficult, honestly, but it's super rich. Like, this is not my kind of soup. Typically, I usually go with like a more brothy veggie pack soup. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. That's still really chunky. Let's keep mixing it. I am going to taste it after I get all this cheese melted into here and add some more salt and pepper probably. Like, it didn't taste bad when I tasted it. It needs a little bit of salt and pepper. But yeah. It was weird because one of the recipes I looked at that I was researching that was a not vegan broccoli cheddar soup recipe, it didn't say anything about garlic in it. I was like, what? And it was like half and half and whole milk and all this other stuff. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're doing too much. I'm just going to do cashews, okay? I don't need all that. I don't need to add 2 different kinds of dairy. I'm just going to use some cashews, some vegetables, some vegan broth, and call it a day. And this is it. Like, we made a roux. It wasn't even hard. Like, this was pretty easy to do. It had a lot of steps, but having my frozen cheat veggies for soup in the freezer is literally a game changer for this. So I'm still melting the cheese. It's still chunky, but I did taste test it, and it tastes really good. I am going to add more salt and pepper though, especially because once I add this broccoli, I'm going to taste a lot of broccoli in there, because I'm adding like 2 heads of broccoli. And I wouldn't say they're small, but I wouldn't say they're large. They're somewhere in the middle. I probably added like another half a teaspoon each of salt and pepper. So we're like at a teaspoon and a half of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. And after I add the broccoli and let it cook for a little bit, I will taste test it again and let you know if I add more. Not that it matters, because really salt and pepper is like, you should do that to taste anyway, but I like to have like an idea of what I'm working with. I know I'm whisking this stuff to death, and as I'm whisking I just keep thinking of things like, so when I make my homemade baked mac and cheese, I blend the vegan cheese in the blender with the cashews and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I could save myself this whole step of whisking and melting in this cheese if I just blended the vegan cheese in with it. I could have done that. I don't know how well that would work though, because these aren't like the typical cheeses I would use. I usually use like Daiya cheese for my homemade mac and cheese and to blend up. So I don't know if the texture of these cheeses would work with that or not. I don't know. But it's just a thought. Okay, so the broccoli is done. It beeped anyway. I'm just tossing it around with my hand. This is not done enough for me. This is still pretty. I mean, it's warm. The broccoli is warm. But if I'm going to air fry it, I want to have at least a little bit of color on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it with just a little bit of oil and then put it back in for another 6 minutes. But tell me, does this look like the right consistency? It seems pretty thick. I don't know. I mean, I think that's how broccoli cheddar soup is supposed to look. Let's do a little, still chunky. But yeah, that looks pretty good, I think. If it starts to get too thick though, I'm gonna add more broth, probably like another cup of broth to thin it out. All right, so it has a little bit of color on it now. So I think that's good. We're gonna add it to the soup. All right, broccoli is in. We're going to mix it in there. This just looks so intense. It looks like such an intense soup. So many different flavors. And I did do a little bit of more research while I was pondering. And cheddar broccoli soup is not supposed to be runny, so that's a good thing that it's not runny, is what I gathered. Now I'm like, do I let it cook longer? Is it done? I don't know. I'm going to taste test it, I guess, and see. I want some broccoli, though. Is that broccoli or is that cheese? I don't even know anymore. I can't tell. I can't tell what's what. Okay, there's some broccoli. It tastes like cheesy broccoli. I mean, maybe that's the vibe. I was never one of those kids that put cheese on my broccoli growing up. But maybe that's why people do this, because they really like cheese so much that they had to make a soup out of it to put their broccoli in. I'm sorry, I'm not hating. With the broccoli, though, I do want to add more salt and pepper. So I'm going to add probably another half a teaspoon of each. I think the nooch was a really good idea in this, too. I think it really adds an extra flavor. And I think My idea with the miso paste would make it even better. Alright guys, I caved. I'm going to add more broth. I know. Don't sue me. But I'm just like, I think it needs to be a little bit more, just a little bit more soupy. I'm going to whisk this back up. Alright. Now here's the consistency. I think that's more of what we're looking for. I'm going to taste test it now. It's good. If I tell you it needs more salt and pepper, would you believe me? I think it's just because we added another cup of broth, but that actually didn't make the texture all that bad. So I think that's good. The broccoli is still like got some bite to it. I don't know if that's typical in a broccoli cheddar soup, but I don't like my broccoli to be mush. But I think it's good. I think I'll add a little bit more salt and pepper, just a teeny little bit. And we did it, guys. I think it's perfect. You guys let me know in the comments if you think I did a good job. You think you would change anything? Do you like your broccoli to have a little bite, or do you like it to be mush in your soup? I'm going to put this in a bowl, and I'm going to serve it with some toasted sourdough bread. Oh my gosh, guys, just look at how pretty that looks. That looks super good. Decadent even. Pretty. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my leftover makeover, or something I've never had before in my life. I think it turned out really well. I'm definitely gonna make this again, and maybe I'll change up a few things and make it into a recipe video. See you next time. Bye.
Sun on the dashboard, windows down, chasing good food from town to town. Farmers markets, city streets, finding magic in what we eat.
I was not sure if this one I got at the deli would shred, but it actually shredded really nicely. Like, it was very soft and slippery in my hand. That's what she said. But I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Edit that out.